So I finally managed to come out to film a new video. It's about time and I've really been eager to get out. So today I thought I'd come out with my 100-400mm, kind of like I did in this video here where I only went out with this lens. And by doing this, it kind of just challenges you to do things a little bit differently. Most of the time when you're thinking of taking photos in nature, you will take something like a 24-70 and focus on small details and get wide shots, because I mean, getting a wide shot of your landscape or the area you're in is easy to do. But when you're stuck to 100-400mm, you kind of have to focus on something a little bit more complex, or focus on things maybe like just the leaf. I mean, you can still take landscape shots with this within distance, so like mountains in the background or something like that. Today I am in this forest, so I will be getting some shots of trees and things like that probably. As I go out to the end, I'll be by the water as well, so hopefully I'll get some shots with water in. And if I'm lucky, maybe I'll get a couple of shots of birds as well. Let's just see what I can get with this lens today and see how far I can push it. At the moment, there's a lot of small birds flying around me, so I thought what I'd do is get a couple of shots of them first, and then I can go on to getting some landscape-ish shots or some leaves or something like that. But while I have them here, I thought I would do that. I'll keep my settings at around 1,000th of a second or higher and f5, and I've just stuck my ISO onto auto because I don't really want to have to worry about that, otherwise I might just miss the shot. So instead I'll worry about my shutter speed and make sure I get the shot every time. With them being small birds, they're pretty fast, so having a fast shutter speed is kind of key to this. So yeah, what I'll do is get a couple of shots of them and then we can move on.
But those who arrived, they've already paid the highest price for a brighter sun that could make their shadows run.
So I found this really interesting composition here. There's a bed of ferns just scattered around the whole forest floor. It's a little windy in here, so you probably hear that at the moment. But anyway, I got ferns like scattered all the way towards the back, so I'm going to focus quite far in the distance on the ferns there. And I got two trees on either side, kind of creating like a nice frame, plus this branch just going over in front of me. So what I'll do is focus on the ferns in the background and kind of blur out what's in front of me at the same time. Because it is a little bit windy, I'm going to shoot this at around 320th of a second just to freeze the motion. And I'm going to shoot this at f4.5 because I don't actually want to get so much detail in, seeing as I want to blur out the foreground a little bit. I've got my ISO to 320 as well. It's a little shaded in here even though it's really sunny today, but I need to bring back some of that shadow as well. So I'm going to shoot this at a portrait angle. So I found this little beach down here. It's absolutely windy at the moment, but it's adding a lot of motion into the water, which could be really cool for a great shot. So at the moment, all I see is these rocks here going into the water, so I think I'm going to focus on that. And with the water moving a lot, I'm just going to stick an ND filter on the front of the lens to be able to slow down my shutter speed a little bit. So I'm going to shoot this shot quite low, and I'm going to shoot it at a portrait angle just so I get the leading line of the rocks going into the water. I will get a little bit of the small pebbles on the beach as well, but they'll be slightly blurred out. I'm going to shoot this at 1/30th of a second, and that's where having the filter helps. It's allowed me to shoot lower shutter speed. At 1/30th of a second, I'm going to have to be careful not to move myself, as that will kind of add blur or motion to the rock as well. But I will get a lot of motion within the water, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm going to shoot this at around f6.3 as well, just to get enough detail in the rock but still blur out the foreground and the background a little bit. And I've got it down to ISO 64 just to be able to bring back the detail in the highlights.
Show me which way to go, 'cause I don't know how to be sure.
finding much else by the water, and it's just really windy, so that's kind of annoying right now. So what I thought I'd do is just head back into the forest and take a couple more photos.
By the horizon.
Found this just interesting tree here. Obviously it will look a bit different when I've taken it with the 100-400, but I was thinking if I stand quite far back and focus just on that tree there, I think it might look pretty cool. You're getting this nice bit of light coming in on the top here, just how everything's kind of shaded around it, and then you're getting a little bit of light coming in on the edges. I'm going to stand a little further back and then focus on that tree there, and then just see how it looks. I'm still around 300-400 meters away from the tree right now. I'm going to shoot this at just under 300 millimeters, just so I get a little bit of dead space on the sides of the tree. And what I'll do is I'll put the tree a little bit to the right side of the frame, just so you kind of get a little bit of dead space on the one side. It kind of helps your eye just follow a little bit on the image without it just being dead center. And with there being a little bit of wind in here as well, I've set my shutter speed to 1/320th of a second just to stop the motion in the leaves. And I've got it set to 6.3, which at this distance will pretty much give all the detail to the tree, but still blur out the background and a little bit of the foreground, which is exactly what I want because I am focusing mainly on that tree. And I've got it set to ISO 100, which is a little bit underexposed right now, which I'm actually doing on purpose because I'm trying to expose mainly for the highlights in the leaves, just to get back all the detail there. And if needed in post, I can bring up the shadows again, but I actually like the darkness to the image because it kind of cancels out the surrounding areas and mainly just puts your focus on the tree. But anyway, let me just get the shot and we can take a look. Okay, so I thought I'd try something a little bit different and kind of focus on the macro side of this lens. It's not a macro lens, but when you zoom it out to 400, you do get really nice bokeh in the background, especially when you're focusing on something quite close. And there's this one fern here which is catching a lot of sunlight. The sun's literally directly above it, but everything else around it is kind of dark. So what I want to do is focus on the back side of it to be able to get the detail in the leaves. I won't be able to get a shot that's just one leaf in the frame. My aim would be to just get the top end of these leaves here and basically just see what kind of detail we get out of the shot. Because there is a bit of a breeze in here and I'm focusing all the way at 400 millimeters, movement in the leaves will be a little bit more prominent. So I'm actually going to shoot this at 1/500th of a second just to be able to stop enough of that motion. I've also got it set to f6.3 just like I did in the last shot. And even at that point, you'll get a lot of detail in the leaves and still blow out the background quite a lot. And I've also got it set to 320 on my ISO because it is a little bit darker in here where I am now. So I need to bring back some of the shadows a little bit. But otherwise, I'm gonna try and get the shot and hopefully we get some good detail out of this. Well, that's me done on today's little adventure. Hopefully you guys got a little something out of this. I tried to take a few different kinds of images just to be able to showcase the lens a little bit better, especially for any of you guys that are looking to buy this lens. I wanted to give you an idea of how it would work in other situations rather than most people just getting this for birds or wildlife. It is good for other things too, including portraits if you really want to take portrait photos with this lens. If there's anything in this video that you think I should have probably included, please leave a comment below and let me know about it. And also leave me a comment below on which image you liked and why. And also if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.